And let's go here. Yes, cancel student debt, bail out regular people. And this is written in other words, and it was picked up by Scheer Post. And Robert Scheer, I don't know if you know, he's the former editor of the New York Times. He was Chris Hedges' boss, I believe. And he still picks up Hedges articles and Lee Camp articles and excellent stuff. It's really just a WordPress site that republishes a lot of other stuff.
I think they had Caitlin the other day,
right? Yep. They republished Caitlin stuff, Common Dreams.
Yeah.
You know, he's excellent. Robert Scheer's great stuff. And once in a while he writes himself. So he picked up this Robert Alvarez from Other Words, who works at the Institute for Policy Studies. All right. And what Robert is saying here is he borrowed money to pay for college, like 45 million other Americans who did the same. He owes student loan debt. Our generation was sold a pipe dream about what a degree could mean for our future. Wanted so badly for this dream to come true that leapt at the opportunity to take out loans. What he didn't know then was just how much the cost of higher education was soaring and that colleges were hiking prices to take advantage of the federal government's willingness to help poor and low-income students like him cover tuition. Talking to his college counselor about how she paid $240 a year to attend one of the best universities in his home state. Since that counselor attended college, inflation has risen 645%, but tuition at college she attended has risen 11,820%. How did they pay for college? Yeah, I worked a part-time summer job after school, and I did that too. You know what? You know where that money went to? Rent, gas, and bills. Right, my McDonald's job was barely enough to keep me afloat, let alone pay for my tuition and other expenses. It was either take out student loans or drop out of college, and I chose not to drop out. Graduated and eventually got a job in my field, but with the rising cost of housing and everything else, that loan debt, which is already inflated by skyrocketing college costs, now feels suffocating. It prevents him from qualifying for a good mortgage loan and makes second guess whether he can even afford to have children. I mean, you've got an entire generation of people that are thinking this way. His loan is just a tiny fraction of the national student loan debt. Again, $1.7 trillion that loan borrowers owe is a massive policy problem affecting everything from housing to the job market to retirement savings and so much more. And that's why there's a growing movement on the federal government, calling on the federal government to relieve some or all of this debt. If they canceled $50,000 worth of student loans, it would give 36 million borrowers a new lease on life. It could enable
do all of it.
Right. Okay. That's the Elizabeth Warren plan. It could enable them to buy a house, start a family, or open a business. That's very nice. You know, it sounds like a radical idea to cancel up to $50,000 worth of student loan debt. It's just not. If you'll remember, Donald Trump and the Republicans, right, passed a $1.9 trillion high-end tax cut 2017 that's been called socialism for the rich. Billionaires paying a lower average tax rate than the working class for the first time in U.S. history, directly responsible for corporate tax revenues plunging to near record lows. So, that sounds like a lot more radical, right, than helping regular people. Even writing off every penny of student debt would cost less than Trump's tax cuts for corporations and the rich. And that's cumulative forever versus that 1.9 trillion, which was not cumulative forever. That had time limits to it in a lot of cases. Biden expressed interest in forgiving some student loan debt, although he's indicated it may not be more than $10,000. I'd welcome any amount being knocked off my loan, but I fear if Biden cancels only $10,000, he would fumble an enormous opportunity to improve millions of lives and give the economy a desperately needed shot in the arm. Precedent is there. The U.S. has a long history of economic bailouts dating back to 1792. The benefits are there. Studies show forgiving student loan debt would create jobs, grow the economy, and have the added benefits of helping to narrow the racial and gender wealth gaps. And maybe that's why it's not happening. And importantly, student debt forgiveness has broad public support, including among people without a college degree and without student loan debt, as well as young people. The question is, what do you do then? How do you pay for all this? How do you fund it all? Well, it's time for the federal government to bail the people out. It's time to cancel student loans.
Don't even have to pay for it. We can just do it.
How do you pay for it?
You can just
Yeah, but
cancel it. You can just flip the switch.
But moving forward, you got to pay.
it.
Yeah, but you got to pay teacher salaries. You got to pay everybody's salaries. You got to pay to maintain buildings. You have to pay for. How do you pay for all that? I don't have the answer. I don't know. I don't know. But other countries manage. They fund it, but they fund it through the government. The government pays for it. What would Ed say?
Right. We just print it. Print a sign that says, "You do whatever you need to. Go to the money printer. Get what you need."
Yeah, money printer go brr. Yeah, that's exactly what Eric just said too. Yeah, until you can't continue to print anymore. Like I guess you always can, but
yeah,
that's not a bad idea. The Borg, and resistance is futile over on the Rockfin. Why not 2 years of community service? Biden wants 2 years of active enlisted service to relieve student loans. I'd be down with 2 years of community service to relieve student loans.
I mean, that's seeing as if they're physically able and or like.
Well, there's you're talking about physical community service. There's answering phones. There's doing all kinds of things that you can do that are not.
Yeah.
That are administrative level jobs that work to support and contribute.
It depends on who deems community service.
Sure.
So
okay, it could be helping.
We could take. I don't know. How about we not send 40 billion to Ukraine, and that should do it.
I'd love to not send 54 billion to Ukraine.
Right, for at least I don't know, 10 years.
Yeah.
Like, how long do you want to fund it? Like, if you want it to be like that, like how long you want it to be on the. To me, it should be a forever thing. Like, we just fund that now. That's now part of the government funding. But I would like to take a lot of that out of the military and put it into, our education system.
I'm with you now.